On Tuesdays, I like to talk about the Sunday service at my church and what stood out to me. If you've been here before, you know that. If you're new here, welcome. I'm so glad you're here. This week, we were in the Book of Malachi, and it is the very last book in the Old Testament. We had a guest speaker. Our pastor was out of town. One thing that this guest speaker said that just was amazing. He said a couple things to start out this service, but he said 70% of the Bible is about Israel and God's relationship with them, but 100% of it is about Jesus. And I just love that because Jesus is all throughout the Old Testament. The pastor also said the New Testament is concealed in the Old Testament. So they had that expectation of Jesus throughout the entire Old Testament. And then the Old Testament is revealed in the New Testament. So the coming of Jesus and what that looks like and the result of his crucifixion and what happened to the church after that. Man, that is some good stuff. But that's just extra information that I wanted to share with you because I was like, man, this guy knows how to grab an audience. He knows how to get you hooked. And I just thought it was some really great stuff. So I wanted to pass that along. But I do want to be a little vulnerable here with you. I am currently in a season of conviction. God has really been working on my life and whittling away at some stuff. And just for the record, convictions can be painful sometimes. A lot of times they are, guys. Change is hard. But it's God loving on you because he's molding you into the best possible version of yourself. And he has this plan for you, and he has these expectations of what a Christ-centered life looks like. And so when you're seeking him, he's going to start convicting you of things so that you can be more like him and your life can be more honoring to him. So just trust him in that conviction process. And if you feel convicted, start making those changes because that's just God saying, hey, I love you. Okay, so last week I did a 3-day fast because I really felt called to do it. And I can't explain why I felt called to do it. I just had this nudge, this achy feeling where it just stuck with me and I could not forget it. And it's like, you need to fast, you need to fast. But it felt like something that I was supposed to be doing. And God revealed to me during this fast that I am not putting him first in my life. And that was really hard to hear because I read my Bible almost every single day, but I'm not an early riser. I hate waking up. I'm a sleepy girl, guys. And sometimes my Bible reading gets pushed to the last thing on my list because when I wake up, it's that go time. It's time to wake up. It's time to get the kids here. It's time to do this. We got to go here. Appointments, life. And on days like that, I don't put my time with God first because I have so much other stuff that I need to do. God isn't the controller of the entire universe, and he could literally stop time for me if he wanted to. But yet I think that I'm still in control of everything, and I have my plans and I have my boxes to check and things have got to get done. It's crazy how easily I can just forget the awesomeness of God when I'm focused on me and not on him. So when the speaker read from Malachi, I laughed to myself because it is exactly what God had been saying to me. So let's read it. So our focus verses were Malachi chapter 1, verses 6 through 9. And it says, a son honors his father and a servant his master. But if I'm a father, where is my honor? And if I am a master, where is your fear of me? Says the Lord of armies to you priests who despise my name. Yet you ask, how have we despised your name? By preparing defiled food on my altar. How have we defiled you, you ask? When you say, the Lord's table is contemptible. When you present a blind animal for sacrifice, is it not wrong? And when you present a lame or sick animal, is it not wrong? Bring it to your governor. Would he be pleased with you or show you a favor? Asked the Lord of armies. Okay, guys, that's some really good stuff. I feel like I kind of butchered that reading, but here we go. God deserves the best, and I sometimes give him my last. What is wrong with me? Hey y'all, welcome back to another episode of Bite Size Bible. My name is Kelly and I am your host. My goal is to help break down the Bible into bite-sized pieces to help make it easier to digest, because we all know that the Bible can be hard to understand sometimes. The only thing special about me is my relationship with God. I have never been to Bible college of any kind. I don't have any special training in ministry. I'm just an ordinary woman with a fairly ordinary life that likes to talk about God and how much He loves me, and I want you to experience that love as well. I'm so glad you're here. Hey, Editing Kelly here. I just wanted to go ahead and thank you in advance for your grace and your forgiveness in listening to this podcast, because as I was editing, I noticed there was some wonky stuff happening with the audio, and it's just stuff that I could not fix. So please forgive me. I will do my best to make it better next time, but I do feel like this is something worth listening to. So please just bear with me. All right. So in the last few months, God has convicted me about tithing with intention, improving my health, prioritizing my quality time with Him. Guys, He is just like, He's getting me. He is on me. The money that I give back to Him should not be an afterthought, because it all belongs to Him anyways. He's just giving us resources while we're on earth. My body is a temple. It was bought with a price, so why would I treat it like it's a fast food restaurant? And like I said earlier, I should never be too busy to prioritize my time with God. He has been showing me that I am not giving Him my first fruits. I'm not giving Him the best of me. And I'm going to change the topic here just a little bit. It might seem like it's out of left field, but I promise you it's going to do a full circle around. So here's a question. Who doesn't like to turn the music up really loud in the car sometimes and just let loose? Like, I love a really good jam session. Music has always been a way of allowing me to process like emotions that I have that I can't quite put into words. I know I cannot be the only one. Music has a way to get us to our core. And it's super important to be conscious of what music we're listening to, the lyrics and all that stuff, because there's such a soulful connection to music. Music allows us to feel life in a way that we can't quite explain. And when we think about worship at church, we think about the part of the service where we're singing. It's one of my favorite parts of the service. It's a time that I can let my guard down. I can prepare my heart to receive a message that God has placed on my pastor's heart to deliver to the congregation. It's just a time to just make myself vulnerable and available to God. It shouldn't be a time where we're worried about ourselves or how we look to others. It should be a time where we're focused on God. Worship should be Christ-centered. Like, it doesn't matter what I think I look like or how cool I think I look, or it doesn't matter if other people think I look stupid. None of that should matter. The focus of worship should be God, always. And here's another question for you. Why do we only think of worship as the singing part of the service? And so this is where it's going to wrap into like our whole, like our lives in general. Every single thing that we do in our lives is a form of worship, or at least it should be. The way we talk, the way we treat others, the way we spend our money, treat our bodies, use our time. It's all worship or lack thereof. So by me not giving God my first fruits or the very best of me, I'm doing a very poor job of worshiping Him and giving Him the respect that He deserves. When we look back at Malachi, it says that they showed contempt for God and defiled Him because they gave offerings that weren't the best. See, back in the Bible times, there were standards for the sacrifices that were to be given. There were requirements, regulations, the way things that were supposed to go. It was ritualistic and it mattered. But in Malachi, it says that they were giving blind and lame sacrifices, that they were giving sick animals and placing them on the altar. And that would imply that they were keeping the best for themselves and giving God all of their leftovers. And the wording is strong. It says that they defiled Him. Guys, yikes. Like, that is massive. That is not something that you want to hear God tell you. You do not want to hear him say, you are defiling me. We might be under a new covenant and we might not have to give those sacrifices, but our lives should be honoring to God. Okay, the Bible makes it very clear that we have to die to ourselves. And that means that we give up what we think is best for us, what we think is the most comfortable for us. We give up those like worldly wants. We have to die to ourselves and not let the flesh take over. Giving ourselves the best of what we have is simply a temporary gain. Giving God our best is eternal. And a really good way that the speaker explained this, I was like, dude, I got to write this down. And I did. If you want to see my notes, they're on Instagram under my highlights where it says notes. But he said that it's like going into a hotel room where you know you're only going to stay 2 nights and you remodel everything. Like you paint the walls, you get new carpet, you get a whole new mattress, like the whole 9 yards. Like you remodel that hotel room and make it exactly what you want it to be. And then by the time you're done remodeling it, the 2 days have gone by, it's time to check out and you leave. That's stupid. No one would ever do that. Hotels are temporary housing. So why are we storing up things here on earth and keeping the best for ourselves when it's all just temporary? It's all temporary. My sacrificing sleep, getting up early, being intentional about reading my Bible and praying, all of that is a form of worship, and God sees it. He sees it as that. When I'm lazy and I choose to sleep in and then I choose to put him on the back burner, he sees that I'm defiling him. Okay, it might not be just blatant disrespect, but I'm also not prioritizing him. Okay, plus getting up early gives me a time in my day to get everything else on my to-do list done. Seems like a no-brainer, right? I'm working on it, guys. Y'all pray for me. By giving God money before I even pay my bills, it shows him respect and that I trust him and that I know it wasn't mine in the first place. Nothing on this earth is ours. He just lets us borrow all of these things. By respecting my body, it respects the sacrifice that Jesus made. That's a big one, guys. We were bought with a price, and that price was Jesus hanging on the cross. He is the only way to heaven. Hear me on this, guys. There is no other way. Jesus is the only way to heaven because he is that eternal sacrifice. He died for us so that we would not have to die. He is the sacrificial lamb. And how rude of me to disrespect my body that Jesus died for. It is awful. And it's everything else that I do in my life. It's everything else that you do in your life. How you raise your kids, how you treat your kids, speak to your kids, how you drive, your road rage, how you talk to other people, how you just talk in general, even when you're not upset or even when something big's not happening. Just what type of language do you use in your ordinary everyday life? How do you treat people that don't have the same beliefs or the same political views as you? It's all a form of worship. How do you treat people when you're angry at them? All of that is a form of worship, and it all honors God or it all defiles him. So this week, I want to challenge you to look at your life as a form of worship. It's a time to prepare your heart to receive what God has for you. It's a way to honor and glorify him. It's a walking testimony to those that don't know God or that are struggling with their faith. Do not give God your leftovers. Give him your firsts. Again, thank you for listening. Your support allows this channel to grow and reach more and more people that might need to hear about God. Liking, sharing, subscribing, all the good things, all that really helps too. If you have any prayer requests, let me know. You can either leave a comment or follow the link in the description box. It'll send me a direct message. If you want to know more about giving your life to God, do the same thing. That prayer request link comes straight to me, so I will be sure to reach back out to you and we can have a chat. I post new episodes every Tuesday and Thursday, but if you want more content before then, check me out on all the socials. The links are in the description box. See you soon.